Ever heard about a hotel that is run by humanoids? Sounds interesting, right? Hey there, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be telling you about the first hotel in history to be run fully by female humanoids. Without further ado, let's get started. 2 years ago, the first doll-based hotel was inaugurated in Spain. In recent times, is the thriving fame and achievement of these hotels something to bother about? Are robots great tools for entertainment, or will they be the spur of additional social harm? In 2017, Humanoids, the initial robot-operated hotel, was inaugurated in Barcelona, Spain. Observing its achievement, the corporation expanded and deployed new hotels in Turin, Italy, Moscow, Russia, and Nagoya, Japan. Humanoids also furnishes consumers with an extra option to borrow a doll. The tariff is now around €100 per hour. The idea, of course, will prove to be a revolution, at least for a community that hasn't existed to withstand prostitution and sexual exploitation successfully. A huge majority of the people witnessing such a change support the move by stating that it is an advance and should encourage to lessen the need for female workers, thus embarking on the company of both illegal and legal prostitution. But is the opening of robot hotels an optimistic creation, or is it something terrible for our culture? Only time will tell. Let's start with the optimistic side first. Robot hotels, as a replacement for human prostitutes, may enable people with harmful sexual perversions to discover a reasonable explanation of their issues. However, on the other side, it seems this is a clear-cut case of the objectification of the woman's physique. The woman existing as an object in a patriarchal community becomes a huge issue. It will only be a small time before we see the activists moving against this idea. The dolls are, in short, being described as something to be utilized and harmed. On the other hand, Humanoids justifies this by saying that they have given rise to male robot dolls as well. Although this may provide the two genders equally, it accomplishes so by objectifying them both. This is still not barely an ethical problem, but relatively a practical one. It has been contended that people who access a lot of adult websites turn out to develop unrealistic personal needs that may give rise to some social threats. Constant use of these adult websites have now become the reason for the decreased capacity to feel empathetic towards likely sexual companions. To make it all the more worse, it gives rise to some specific sexual preferences, dependencies, and ultimately lessens satisfaction when in an affair. What we have barely talked over for adult sites can be, to a great extent, the same for the robots. The robot object woman can handily come to be the actual object woman. This is what makes it all a bit evilish if in the wrong hands, as accessing adult content is considered an unwelcome behavior that may give severe over time. Robots may serve as catalysts to encourage sexual violence and make the maters even worse. The need for robots would possibly lie around prostitution and pornography. Although the acts correspond to a real one, robots are still lifeless objects. We could foresee the number of men having intercourse with robots being around in between these numbers. In other words, this kind of sex industry could persuade more people to prostitution than real prostitution accomplishes. Well, who may not try this out when no one is there to remember anything? Consumers won't handle real people. They will be replaced by dolls. The psychological consequence will be long-lasting and will provoke people to continuously use them to satisfy their needs. The problem is not the demands being fulfilled, it is the manner in which they will be. What do you think? Will this field change the way it works, or a total eradication? These habits could slip into society. Making sex seem normal and related to pornography may result in sexual disappointment within an affair, leading to enhanced stress and anxiety, and ultimately, an end to the relationship. Yet again, it is a proven fact that addiction to pornography has been indicated to result in psychological discomfort. Healthy and happy affairs are becoming an illusion. Has the beginning of adult sites contributed to these issues? Are robot workers going to heighten these situations? As sexual health strongly contributes to our mental peace, robots could signify a major responsibility for our already unstable modern gender assumptions. We live in a quickly shifting society when it comes to sex, and our nature is not keeping up with the pace. Men are the most vulnerable they have ever been, owing to the widespread availability of unfettered and quickly available internet and low-cost films. A lot of what is shown on adult websites does not in any way match reality. This lack of resemblance then affects the choice of partners. Sex robots are, therefore, just another step further in the process of separation due to technology between the sexual expectations of men and women. With the world's first robot brothel opened, the owners are expecting to attract fans and even players from England. The so-called Dolls Brothel Hotel has opened its doors in between the high-rise towers of Moscow's commercial district. According to the proprietors, sex robots named Lolita, Sasha, Natasha, and Ilsa are ready for clients. The legal brothel charges between €17.75 and €29.50 per hour for rooms, one of which is dubbed Fantasy and contains a dungeon. After paying for the robot, the total cost increases to roughly €60 per hour, a fee that may include the danger that the FSB counterintelligence service will bug the room. A hotel spokesman said, "We really are waiting for a flow of visitors during the World Cup, and we look forward to many foreign clients, including from England. This calls for some special permissions." He then further added by saying that, as for the players, if they are allowed by their coaches and managers, we will welcome them. The sex bots are described as warm, with mechanical movements and artificial brains. The founder of the hotel, Dmitry Alexandrov, said that 36% of Russians are unhappy with their sex lives. He said, "Creating a full-scale leisure adult center in Russia is not only a legal and safe way to improve your sex life, but it is also a step forward, fighting one of the oldest problems in Russia, the violent exploitation of women." Dmitry explains that after each customer leaves, the dolls are fully cleaned with special solutions following the international standards. He claims this proves there will be no threat of germs. Of the robots at the hotel, Lolita is defined as independent, self-sufficient, and calm. She has no complexes. She is always prepared for everything. Sasha is business-minded, along with in the supervision of everything. Natasha is depicted as the true personification of womanhood and affection, shy and obedient, with a delightful smile. While Lisi likes to have alterations and experiments. Elsie is defined as a harmless bud who delight the man's eye. A Russian customer named Dennis said World Cup fans would be very happy. He said, "The dolls are very practical. I would never believe so." Another client, named Maxim, said, "It is wonderful that presently we have such an area where you can go and get fresh feelings without being dishonest or feeling bad. I loved everything. There was a sincere receptionist, wonderful unique rooms, and of course, an amazing doll." This problem can be figured out by an experienced call girl who is ready to hear him out and make his sexual imagination come true for money. But a sex therapist claimed that robots could never displace actual humans. No technology would transmit how our skin reacts to touch, they said. It is what greatly molds our temptation, not only pictorial impressions and outcomes in profound personal satisfaction between men and women, they said. With a total assessment of $1.5 million in recreational centers for adults, Dolls Hotel has already attracted $300,000 of investment. Over the next 12 months Russia and CIS plans to launch more than 10 such centers, and in the next 5 years, it is planned to open more than 50 offices worldwide in cities and resort areas. We are pleased to arrive at the Russian demand, third in a row. We do not question the hotel hourly, and the likelihood of leasing intercourse dolls will be under pressure in Russia, no less than in the West, says the co-founder of brothels with coupling dolls Lumi Dolls in Barcelona, Sergei Preto. According to predictions of the future of intercourse, by 2033, 10% of sexual references will arise between humans and androids. According to Preto, the improvement is walking in the way of realism, having copulation with dolls in the last era, according to several pointers already identical to intercourse with real women, and in some regards, is superior. Well, that was a roller coaster of a ride, wasn't it? Who would have thought that there would be such a concept outside of our doors? Well, that is about it for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, and also let us know what your views are on robot brothel concepts.